Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome to the 2026 energy forecast provided from the Akashic Records. Man, typically I would have had this done a little bit sooner, but as you can see, I'm in a new space. Behind me, I'm in the new house that I just moved into less than 3 weeks ago. It has been a wild adjustment. More on that later. I will be telling the story of this very dark night that I have been moving through, probably the biggest one that I've been moving through since the very first one I ever went on my journey. So it's been a wild ride, and I've felt very much in a cocoon, moving through very deep, hard layers, and I'm only just starting to kind of see the light. As you can see, I still have all my Christmas stuff up, even though it is January 3rd. And typically I would have all my Christmas stuff put away, but there's just something very warm about the aesthetic of the Christmas stuff still being in the house right now. I think maybe because of the move and how crazy it all was, that it's nice to just like let it settle in a little bit more. Yeah, it has been an interesting, December was a really, really big month for so many of us, but let's just note 2025 in general. And I'm going to be really digging into the differences in these years because 2025 was a hard year for a lot of us. There were some big, big lessons and big, big shifts required from the lessons because 2025 was a karmic year. And let's be honest, when we're on the soul journey, there's going to be a lot of karma stuff that comes up every year. But 2025 was one of those big ones. And I feel like this had a lot to do with it being a 9-year. I'm sure you've heard the year of the snake. There was a lot of shedding that was going on in 2025, a lot of things that had to come to completion because we're now going to be heading into a year 1, which I believe starts in February with the Chinese New Year. And it's the fire horse. So that in itself says a lot of what the energy is going to be for 2026. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big year, but big in a different way than 2025 was. The energy that I'm feeling into, and we're going to dive in. So today we're going to dive into themes. I'm going to do a card pull and pull some cards for you for 2025, feeling into that. I'm also going to share some channeled guidance that came through yesterday. It's actually channeled guidance that came through from my Empowered Awakening group. It's a 12-month mentorship that we're doing right now, and we meet once a week. Enrollment is obviously closed, but I will be opening up enrollment for the next one next fall. So if you're interested in that, I'll start a wait list and people can add their names to that if that's something you're interested in doing. Anyways, so this channeled guidance came through for our group all around the nervous system. Now, interestingly, the channeled guidance that came through from the records, while it was around the nervous system, actually had a lot to do with the energy of 2026 and why the nervous system is not just one of the themes, but one of the most important things you need to be aware of and using to support you in the big energy this coming year. So I'm going to share the channeled guidance from that. I think it would be very helpful here. And I'm going to provide some themes, and then I'm going to do a little channeled card pull. So I hope that this can help you. As always, before we dig in, if you're looking for deeper support, you can message me around my one-to-one soul coaching. This is a really deep dive into trying to make some big changes for yourself. If you're desiring change, if there are things that you're desiring, we can dig into the one-to-one soul coaching. This is truly a deep dive. So if you're really wanting to make changes in your life, highly recommend the soul coaching. There's also my readings. So I offer intuitive guidance session with spirit. I also offer Akashic Record soul readings, but right now I also have on promo, there are only 2 left, are my 2026 New Year's soul readings. So space is really limited. I only do them for January, and there's only 2 of these left. So when you book, you then are shown a calendar and you can choose a date. So 2 promos left, space is limited for January. If you're looking for deeper support, deeper guidance, and understanding of what you can be expecting for yourself personally for 2026, this is a great way to start this new year. Okay, let's dive in. I want to read to you the channeled guidance that came through. I feel like it would be a really beautiful way to start this 2026 forecast, the energy forecast. Okay, so what I would like you to do before I start reading this is close your eyes if you can. If you're not doing anything, you know, the records are open. I always open them before I provide channeled guidance, before I provide these forecasts. It's a container that holds the energy that comes through. So the records are already open. And so what I'd like you to do so you can receive this in a deeper way is close your eyes if you can. Close your eyes. You can always come back to this if you need to, just so that you can receive it in a deeper way. This past year has stretched you. The ending of cycles, the ending of energy that is not meant to go forward with you on your path. Completion, yet grief. Because how you were is not who you are moving forward. This past year provided for you, or perhaps forced, a deep, dark threshold. It showed you what isn't working anymore. The deeper energies and dynamics within you and in your life that need to be seen, alchemized, integrated, cleared. Because what lays ahead is bigger than you could ever imagine. What lays ahead is a vast road of opportunity, expansiveness, and deep, deep trust. What you have been desiring, what you have been dreaming, what you have been seeing and envisioning is nothing compared to what you are going to receive. So are you ready? Because if you sat with what showed up this year, if you were able to be with the difficult emotions, the challenging energy, then what you have been preparing for is right here, ready to be experienced. Perhaps you are already feeling the whispers of its call. Perhaps you can feel the wind slowly shifting, the energy nearing. If you weren't able to sit with what was showing up, if it felt too much, too big, too intense, too overwhelming, fear not, my love. This energy is still here, asking you to integrate it. Truly, it is not going anywhere because it plays a foundational role in this next expansion for you. So the sooner you allow yourself to slow down, feel, be with all of it without cowering, remembering that through the hardest pieces is where we find our freedom, this is where you will begin to feel the shift in the wind. 2026 is going to be a massive year of intense expansion. And this is why the nervous system work is so, so, so important. Knowing how to hold your energy when it feels too much, because it will. Having the awareness when you need to rest and integrate. Because recalibration and a new path of experiences and opportunities and unlimited potentials cannot occur when your nervous system is in a state of contraction. Nervous system understanding and support is the path forward. It is the number one tool you will need in your expansion. Because you cannot expand into this new, bright, beautiful energy if your system doesn't feel safe. You cannot experience all of your dreams and more if your system doesn't feel safe. This is what it means to be a human, having a soul experience. Your soul is guiding you, but this can only occur if you're human and thus your system feels safe. Your expansion directly mirrors your ability to hold yourself in the contraction. This is the ebb and flow of this experience. And the ebb and flow cannot occur if your system is in a continual state of resistance. So notice, what are you doing to support yourself each day? How are you gently holding your energy? What are you doing to keep energy moving and not stagnant? What pieces in your life do you need to edit, add, delete to help more consistently support your energy so you can stay in a state of open, receiving flow? This is the blueprint for 2026, nervous system support and awareness. This is how you will best aid your expansion in this massive year ahead. When you are doing this each day, it allows for your soul to move with such greater ease and freedom. Okay, so let's talk about this, because whereas 2025 was a big karmic year, the energy was intense, might have felt chaotic for you, heavy, dense. That was the point. A theme that's been coming through a lot in readings right now is the excavating that had to occur in 2025. So the first theme, nervous system regulation and awareness, is so key. Why? Because, so you've done the heavy lifting. If you have, amazing. If you haven't, you'll be shown this in this year, because this year is big, fast energy. Okay. And nervous system regulation and awareness is so important, because when there is big, fast energy, it doesn't always mean it's a bad thing, but we need to know how to ground and anchor and root ourselves in that energy. Otherwise, we feel like we're part of the chaos. Okay. 2026 is going to have this big explosive energy. Things are going to move really fast. Another theme that came through is that time is not going to matter as much. What do they mean by this? So because so many of us are waking up to doing the work, we're working through the stuff inside of us, we're clearing space, right? When we do the work, when we do the healing work, we begin to clear space, we begin to open, create more bandwidth. We heal and shift and clear more of the dense, heavy 3D energy within us. Pain, that's the ego, pain, fear, all of this repressed, stuck energy. So when we're doing this work, we're clearing that space. And what occurs is our energy then, the frequency gets higher, the frequency gets more open, the frequency gets clearer. And what happens when that occurs? Time begins to collapse, because time is based off of linear, and linear is part of the 3D structure. So this is why time is not going to feel as much of an important thing, because we're starting to shift as a society away from time being the way that everything is constructed, because we're starting to embody more of a quantum energy, because of all the healing work that's going on, because the frequency of the collective is heightening, it's ascending. Again, we want to be careful, because we're not going somewhere. The reason why we're ascending is because so many of us are doing the work and coming into the body. Okay. And what is important when we're coming into the body? Your nervous system. Your nervous system is such a key piece when it comes to being able to hold bigger energy. When you are aware of what state your nervous system is in, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and you have the tools to support yourself in that, remembering that we're never supposed to be at one state. We're always shifting. We're always ebbing and flowing, because we are energetic beings. Okay. We're always in a state of change. But when you have the awareness to know what state you're in, this is everything, because it's not about not being dysregulated. It's about, how do I support myself when the energy feels intense? How do I support myself when the energy feels big, right? Like I said in the channeled guidance, ascension, expansion can only occur so much as how much we are able to hold the energy. And we hold the energy by having awareness and tools to support our nervous system. Our nervous system is I like to refer to it as like our energetic safety system. Okay. It's always picking up energy in the environment around us, within us. And so knowing how to work with your energy is so key, because the energy this year, again, it's going to be big, not big in a bad way. I actually don't think anything is good or bad. It just is, depending on the perception you have of it. But it's going to be big. It's going to feel more intense. If you're doing this work, especially somatic work, and you know about your nervous system and you know how to support yourself in it, it's not going to feel as intense, because you've been slowly calibrating your nervous system to be able to hold more. Okay. That's also why you might find that something that would have really triggered you before doesn't trigger you in the same way, or something that would have set you off before doesn't set you off in the same way, or that you can hold a situation way better than you would have before. It's because you've been working with your nervous system. Why? Because you've been working with your triggers, and your triggers are directly connected to your nervous system, right? Your triggers are essentially saying there's danger, there's danger. I could talk about this for hours. but I kind of mixed in two different themes there. So just to say them again: 1, nervous system support and awareness. 2, time is not going to have the same impact. We're going to be looking at it differently. We're going to be, I guess the best way I can explain how I'm feeling into this is we're going to be detaching from the importance we place on it. Because another piece around this that's just coming through here is, because when we're doing this healing work, we are learning how to create more safety in our system, and we're able to be more present. And what happens when we're present? Time dissolves. When you are fully present, think about those things where you're so present and all of a sudden you lose track of time and it's been like 2 hours. I'm not talking because of substances. I'm talking just being present, okay? That is because your system can hold that space for that amount of time and it feels safe. And when we're doing this work, we're learning how to dissolve time, or we're able to dissolve time from that because we're able to be so much more present. I'm really excited. There's this like leaps and bounds this year for us. And I think so much of it has to do with the karmic work so many of us were doing in 2025. Super exciting. The next theme here is not what you're expecting. This has been coming through a lot, especially for myself and my journey. And the guidance here is pretty much how it sounds. Things are not going to be what you expect. Things are not going to look how you expect. Things are not going to necessarily turn out how you expect. And right away, me saying that could trigger you a little bit. That could get you into this place of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen, right? Fear, the ego is going to show up wanting to control that. It's different than that. What the records are trying to show is when we have expectations, we are in the ego, okay? One way I like to explain this is it's like the horse with the blinders on. When we are in our ego, we can only see so much as what is in front of us. It's conditional. It's a box that we keep ourselves in. When we then go into our soul, when we connect to our soul, when we detach, release, disconnect, and go within ourselves and drop in, and when you're really in your soul, it's unconditional. I like to equate it to the horse with the blinders on the track. And when you are connected to your soul, you're in the bleachers and you can see everything. That's the soul. And so intuitively, I feel that the records are really showing this as a theme. It's not what you expect, because when we have expectations, when we are too firm on how we expect it to go, that's the ego. And it's conditional, and it actually keeps us in a box that might contain us. It might feel safe, but it doesn't allow us to expand, because anything outside of your comfort zone is where you expand. Anything outside of your comfort zone is the soul path. And so it will be important for you to be aware of this year. And especially now, we're in January, we're in the dead of winter, but I really love this time because it gets me reflecting on what was and what I'm wanting to step into. And this can be a great time to be reflecting on the things that you're desiring, but what are your expectations around those things? Okay. So a great example of this is maybe you're desiring really fulfilling love. Okay. But do you have expectations around how that is supposed to look, how it's supposed to turn out, how it's supposed to happen, right? Because that is going to limit you. And if you step back, and this is another piece to think about, rather than it being something you expect or you have expectations around, what if the focus and the intention was to connect to how do I want it to feel? Because when we are tapped into how we want it to feel, the expectations dissolve and it opens up so much more space for that piece to come through. Okay, this is a really fun one. And it's also been coming up a lot, especially for me. Whatever that thing is, dream bigger. Because what I am being shown is, again, we can have these visions, and sometimes we'll get the vision and it's like, it's the soul that's showing us that. But sometimes we'll get the vision or an idea of what we want, and there's still ego around that. And it's like I just said, it's still contained, but the records are like, no. Everything that you desire, it is going to be bigger than you can ever imagine. And so don't play small. Like, notice even in the things that you are desiring for yourself this year, are you still playing small on them a little bit? Notice on the things that you're desiring, is there a part of you that's still holding back a little bit? If you are holding back, why are you holding back? Is there guilt there around feeling too good? Is there guilt there around really receiving all of what you desire and that's not fair for everyone else? Is there guilt there like, who am I to believe that I can? Those are important things to get clear on, because again, the guidance is like, dream so big, because what actually wants to come through is even bigger than that. There's this interest. I wish I could remember this quote that came through, but it's something along the lines of, dream what you want to dream with the universe and have the audacity to make it so wild, because the universe answers that. So dream big. Take a look at those things you're desiring. One, make sure that they're soul desires, not ego desires. And if you have questions around that, let me know and I can help explain that a little bit more. So make sure they're soul desires. And then how can you open them up even more, right? If it's that love that you desire this year, look at how you want to feel with that piece and then go the extra mile with it. Go the distance in terms of, how do I really want this to feel? Am I still playing safe in some places? Because this year, we're going to continue to be stripped of all the things where we're playing safe. If you've been doing the work, if you were digging in 2025, it's not going to feel nearly as intense, and you will have the awareness and the tools to support you this year. If you haven't been digging in, message me, and this is where you'll need some support with it. Okay, and the final theme here is cleaner energy. What do they mean by this? And it connects to exactly what I was just talking about with, if you've been doing the work, 2026, it's going to be big energy. There's still going to be hard pieces that show up, because that is part of the soul journey, but you are going to be able to support yourself in that energy in so much more of an efficient way. It might feel big, but it won't last as long, or it might not feel as big. And so you can dig in and smooth out that energy sooner. So whatever those challenges and obstacles and maybe karmic pieces that are going to show up for you this year, they're not going to feel as intense. One, because you've been building this muscle from last year. And two, you did so much of the heavy excavating last year. And so it's like, it came through in a reading, rather than it being this big machine that's excavating, which was 2025, now you might just have a shovel and you're just kind of chipping away at certain things. You might have to really get in there a little bit, but you need a shovel for it, not an excavator. Okay. So it's going to be cleaner energy, smoother, cleaner energy. I just realized, oh, that's so cool. The light is creating a cool little light line. Okay, yep, that's one. Oh, and I can see why it fell out. Oh, a couple more. Okay, maybe we'll see if there's a couple more that want to come. Okay. Is there one more that wants to come through for 2026? Okay, here we go. So I feel like this actually has a lot to do with what you are desiring for 2026. The first card that fell out is the Imagine card. And this very much connects to the message of the theme of dream bigger. Okay, so it's important for you, and this is such a beautiful time to do it. I was going to talk about this. I'm glad I'm coming back to it. Yes, technically the seasonal new year, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, starts in March with the spring equinox. And you know, I see a lot of stuff out there about the new year, we're in the dead of winter. I actually really love this time, because even though, yes, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in the winter right now, January is such a portal of, it's almost like it reminds me of new moon energy, where you're like going within, you're reflecting, you're in stillness. There's cocoon energy to it, right? And this is where the metamorphosis begins to happen. And so what's connected to this is spend some time sitting with your visions, your dreams, imagining, like let yourself color outside of the lines. Let yourself just tap into the richest, juiciest, yummiest visions that you have for yourself. And notice if you're playing safe, because this year we are leaving that shit behind, my friend. It is not a year to play safe. The energy this year is so big, it is so expansive, and the universe is saying, like literally, this message has been coming through so much. Dream bigger than you're envisioning. So that thing that you're even desiring, how can you get out of the lines? How can you tap into the unlimited potential of what that thing is that wants to come through for you and how you want it to feel? Feel it. Embody it each day, even if it's not here, especially if it's not here. Feel into the juiciness of that energy every day. Feel it, embody it, become it. That's where you tap into it. The universe gives us the energy that we are embodying. And so feel it, embody it. That's how you connect with it. Ooh, that was juicy. Okay, the next one, message in a bottle. What's coming through here is this is a big year also for a lot of us to be deepening into our intuitive gifts, for us to be deepening into our connection with spirit, for us to be deepening into trust of ourselves, of the path, of spirit. And so really keep an eye out for those messages. Keep an eye out for what wants to come through. Keep an eye out for that. We are always receiving in every moment, but are you open to that receiving? Something that I do in one of my meditations that always, it clicks for me every time I do it, is there's this one part where I have you open up to receive from spirit. And one of the pieces that always comes through is spirit is always there. Our spirit team is always there. Angels, guides, past loved ones, ancestors. They're always here guiding us. It's not a question of them not being there, them not sending the messages. It's how open are you to receive? And so if you feel like you are not connected, this is a you problem, my friend. I love you, but truly, you have to go within yourself and figure out what's the resistance. Figure out how do you clear that? Figure out how do you open up to receive more through your channel? Because the messages are there, but are you open to receive them? Okay. The next card that came through is the time to go card. And what's very clearly coming through here is because we're in January and it's, we're entering into this new year, but like I said, we're kind of in this cocoon energy still. We're in this portal of like, what do we desire? I just saw an orb that was over there. It got me off track, but we're still in this energy of reflection, cocoon. Like I said, it feels like new moon energy a little bit. But what feels like it's important for a lot of people right now is getting clear on what still needs to go, what's not working. Something that came through in the messages that's come through many times throughout the years, and it's something I practice with clients, is this process called add, edit, delete. What is ready to be deleted? What is ready to be let go? What is ready to be released? And you should be able to feel into this more easily than other times because we are just having this full moon. The full moon illuminates. It brings to the surface what we're ready to see, what we're ready to release, what we're ready to let go of, what we're ready to stop doing. And so it's time to go. It's time for you to go forward on your path. What are the things that you're allowing to hold you down? What are the things that don't want to go with you? What are the things that you're holding on to out of fear, out of safety? Because again, 2026 is going to be a year of continual stripping. We really started to feel it in 2025. We will really start to feel it in 2026 again. If you've been doing the work, if you have the tools and the support, it won't feel that hard because you're building a muscle around this. But this is a very important time to be looking at what needs to be released, what needs to be let go of. Okay. Now this card came out, and so it's the poised card. It came out upside down. And what it feels like, and this has been a theme I've been hearing a lot lately too, is authenticity. 2026 is going to be a year where you are invited to deepen into greater authenticity within yourself and in your life. That means that sometimes we will have a habit of putting on a facade or having a certain persona or wearing a certain identity because that's always felt safe. It's who we've always been. But if we go back to this piece of the stripping continuing, is that it's not going to be a year for being poised. It's going to be a year for actually just showing who the F you are and being okay with that, and being okay with letting go what isn't in alignment with who you authentically are and what you authentically desire. So a reflection piece you could do around this is, where do I hold back in my life? Where am I holding on to old identities that are ready to be let go of? Where am I showing up in a way that isn't fully authentic? Where am I caging myself, shackling myself, imprisoning myself? Because it's time to let that shit go. That is it. That is the 2026 energy forecast. Thank you for watching this. If you have made it this far, again, if you need deeper support, my one-to-one soul coaching, my Akashic Record soul readings, my intuitive guidance sessions with Spirit, as well as my New Year's 2026 New Year's soul readings are on. I have 2 promos left. This is going to be such a big year. It's going to be such a big year. If you've been digging in, you've got this. You're building the muscle. If you haven't been digging in, you're going to be shown, and it's probably going to get more uncomfortable, and that's okay. You're in the right place. As always, reach out if you need deeper support. And I will see you next week.